This is Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW.
Nobody's ever purchased tickets or just tried to see, what they could do to help, and it's turned into something as large as this one has.
Nearly 2,000 tickets are still available for Saturday's playoff football game between the NDSU Bison and Colgate Raiders. One woman says she wants to change that by filling the empty seats with veterans. Valley News team's Joshua Pagero explains what she's doing and how you can help.
Chris Altoff has spent 6 years at Project Heart in Fargo, which helps homeless veterans get back on their feet.
So we provide transitional services for up to 2 years they can live here.
Altoff says there isn't one answer as to why a veteran ends up homeless.
It can be service related or maybe even not service related, but they find themselves in a situation where they need a helping hand, and we're here to do what we can to give them that help.
And sometimes that help means a bit of fun. A group of organizers launched an effort Wednesday to help veterans in Fargo-Moorhead watch a Bison game. Nearly 70 tickets have been donated as of Thursday afternoon, allowing veterans to attend Saturday's game versus Colgate. One anonymous and generous donor gave 20 tickets.
Never really seen an organized event like this kind of take off as fast as this one did. We do have
Alana Christensen is hoping that every seat is filled on Saturday in the Fargo Dome, and she hopes that the majority of those in attendance are veterans. Christensen considers herself a Bison superfan and has been a season ticket holder since the Fargo Dome opened.
Well, sometimes I get called the sign lady.
She says she was inspired to organize this ticket drive after she noticed at the last playoff game when the stadium announcer asked veterans to stand, she couldn't count many.
You get to just sit in the stadium and look around the stadium and see how many veterans have attended the game. And that's when I've oftentimes thought, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to get a few more veterans here?
Her dad was a World War II vet, and we shouldn't forget their sacrifices. In Fargo, Joshua Pagero, Valley News Live.
Saturday's game kicks off at 11 in the morning. 70% of veterans who complete the Project Heart program end up finding permanent housing. Join the conversation to this story on our Facebook page. That's where you'll be able to find stories like this one, as well as the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. We had some pretty chilly temperatures outside today. Let's check in with Robert to see if these temperatures are sticking around. Robert?
Yeah, as we take a live look outside on the CorwinAuto.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network, some cloudy skies out there, some very light flurries falling here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. It was a very cold morning. We were below zero, but off towards the north. Langdon, minus 17 this morning, but we're above zero now. 14 feels more like 1, though, with winds out of the south at 10, 12 over in Moorhead. That 14, a few degrees warmer than we were earlier this evening as those clouds moved in. Temperatures actually rose a little bit, but off towards the east, still some single digits across portions of Minnesota, teens for the rest of the region. Southerly breezes, they'll continue as we head through tonight. That in combination with the clouds will keep temperatures from getting anywhere near as cold as they were last night. But right now, creating wind chills as cold as 10 below in Thief River Falls, minus 9 up in Roseau. Cloud cover rolling on through, and underneath those clouds we have seen some flurries, and again some very light flurries here, more developing off towards the west, and we'll see some scattered flurries as we head through the overnight hours. Not going to amount to very much at all, but one or two locations could see an isolated slick spot. A few more flurries falling over parts of northeastern to South Dakota. Rain falling across the southwest. That's going to be a big-time winter storm for parts of the southern plains, parts of the Tennessee Valley, and eventually parts of the southeastern U.S. as we head through the next several days. For us, though, overnight tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and we'll have that risk for a few flurries out there. Cold overnight lows, but again, everybody's going to stay above zero tonight. Tomorrow, we'll have some clouds in the morning, giving way to more sun as we head through the day, warming into the teens and 20s. But by late tomorrow evening, we'll start to cool that back down once again into these single digits and teens. Fargo, we're going to start off on a cold note, but not as cold as this morning, around 4. Temperatures by lunchtime, though, warming on up into the upper teens, and then later on in the day, we're going to top it on out in the 20s. It'll feel a bit cooler than that with a light westerly breeze. Picture of the day, a frosty tower in Church's Ferry. You can see that frost gets thicker as you go up towards the top. Thanks so much to Jim for sending that in. Going to use that as the backdrop to our 7-day forecast. And again, Not as cold as we head through the day tomorrow, into the 20s, and we're going to stick with 20s and 30s as we head through the next 7 days. Just a slight chance for a little bit of snow late Tuesday and early on Wednesday. Cold for tailgaters, but not too bad for this time of year.
Definitely looking forward to some warmer temperatures.
I think we all are.
Thank you, Robert. Well, former President George H.W. Bush was buried in College Station, Texas, alongside his wife, Barbara Bush, and daughter, Robin, today. The casket was carried through the military corridor with the Bush family following. They proceeded to the discreet location, and the burial was private and closed to the press. The nation continues to mourn the passing of President Bush. North Dakota lawmakers are sharing their memories of the 41st president. Outgoing Senator Heidi Heitkamp and Senator-elect Kevin Cramer say the nation lost a great family man. She looks back fondly on the greatest generation where men like President Bush took off their uniforms and continued to serve.
At the end of the day, this is a generation who knew how to sit at a table and cut a deal and move the country forward. And I think, hopefully, as the pastor said in the homily, someone will fill that void.
As Heitkamp prepares for her Senate exit, Cramer prepares for his entrance. He says the lessons from President Bush and his efforts in bipartisanship could help him and his colleagues.
It could shape perhaps this Congress to some degree if our memories are long enough, if we reflect deeply enough. I think that the lesson is that doing the right thing is more important than doing the expedient thing.
Hi, Mr. Allen. This is Mr. Thomas Anderson. I'm calling from the Publishers Clearinghouse with a $2.6 million check for you.
A new scam is hitting the Valley, telling people they won over $2 million from Publishers Clearinghouse. The problem is you have to send the caller money in order to get your money. A member here at Valley News Live got the call earlier this week, prompting our crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley to do some digging and see how legitimate the winnings could be.
Hi, Mr. Allen. This is Mr. Thomas Anderson. I'm calling from the Publishers Clearinghouse with a $2.6 million check for you.
A voicemail left for my coworker on Monday morning sounded like it was full of empty promises. But before he deleted the message, I wanted to give this Mr. Thomas Anderson a call back.
The Text Now subscriber you were trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
But both days I called the number, I had to leave a message. And the caller's voicemail greeting saying I reached a Text Now subscriber made me scratch my head, because Text Now is an app you can get on your phone. There, you just have to make a profile and tell the app what area code you want your new phone number to come from. Meaning my $1 million call from South Milwaukee, Wisconsin probably isn't true. But how do you know a call from Publishers Clearinghouse is the real deal? First of all, the numbers are completely different.
Welcome to Publishers Clearinghouse, the house where dreams come true.
And so is the greeting, with the 1-800 number identifying themselves right out of the gate.
If you suspect you received a scam call, letter, email, or check from someone claiming to be from Publishers Clearinghouse, press 5.
Publishers Clearinghouse says they'll never ask you to send money in order to collect your prizes. They say they'll never even call you at all if you've won a prize, saying they give their prizes live and in person with no prior heads up. So although I never got to talk to Mr. Thomas Anderson, it's safe to say he was up to no good. In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Publishers Clearinghouse says if you've received any checks, phone calls, or emails from someone pretending to be them, to immediately report it to the Federal Trade Commission. Grand Forks is seeing a rise in the numbers of special needs students who need alternative education. Now the school district is looking to expand the program outside of its own facilities. The district says when the alternative education program started in 2014, 18 students were enrolled in the program. Now that number has grown to 27, and the district says its current location can't keep up with the students' demand and no longer provides a safe environment for students. To fix the problem, the Grand Forks School Board Facilities Committee approved a more than $62,000 lease to rent part of the Grand Forks Herald building for 2 years. The full school board will vote on the issue Monday, December 10th. But the move is contested by local children protection advocates who say the new facility would segregate students based on their disabilities and violate their student rights. Governor Doug Burgum is taking aim at lowering the state's prison population. He signed justice reinvestment bills in 2017 and has proposed funding for justice reform within his $14.3 billion budget. At that time, the average daily population at the state penitentiary was 1,829 men and women combined. Right now, the average has dropped by 148 people. Looking to build on it, the governor wants to add $20 million more in behavioral health services, including expanding the Free Through Recovery Program. The program is designed to increase recovery support services to people involved in criminal justice system who have behavioral health concerns. Attorney General Wayne Stingem says a lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies could also help.
That will bring in a source of fund that I think ought to be devoted to providing even more treatment options.
North Dakota is one of the 40 states investigating manufacturers, which is blamed for the opioid epidemic, and also one of the 11 states suing Purdue Pharmaceuticals. Stingem says the company may have made millions from misrepresenting their products. Minnesota officials are forecasting a $1.5 billion surplus for the next 2-year budget period. The forecast sets the stage for the debate over taxes and spending in the 2019 legislative session. Outgoing Governor Mark Dayton gave credit to Minnesota job providers for the strong economy and his administration's 8 straight years of surplus.
I realize that this success is a great disappointment to a few ideologues who were certain that our administration's policies would cause the state's ruination. They were wrong. Instead, those policies helped us balance the state's budget, pay off the school debt, and make important new investments such as all-day kindergarten.
The state's budget currently has about $2 billion in reserves. Filling your gas tank is a little easier on your wallet these days. In some cases, pump prices have dropped below $2 a gallon. The lowest was found today in Lisbon, North Dakota, where Gas Buddy says prices at several pumps are $1.87 a gallon. Costco and Sam's Club in Fargo are the lowest for the metro at $1.94. The average price across the state is at $2.37 a gallon, but just a month ago, that price was at $2.75. AAA says gas prices will likely continue to fall on strong inventory for both crude oil and gas. Still ahead tonight, the Christmas holiday is right around the corner. Are you looking for the perfect gift? We have some ideas for you right after the break.